I love criticism. Like, I'm just like, yeah, please tell me what you hated. Because especially at the beginning, like if you're giving this to like your closest friends, they're not really being that
Right.
harsh. Like my buddy Adam was like, yeah, these cards shouldn't reduce your energy. But it wasn't like, he wasn't like mad about it. It was like, this game sucks because of this. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm bummed out about it. So it's been, kind of hard to get constructive criticism at the beginning with buddies. But now these days it's like, please tell me how you actually feel, because I want to make the game better. And if you're feeling this way, chances are there's at least 1, 2, maybe 100 other players that have the exact same feeling. We got some really good feedback in Discord like a week or two ago. Someone was like, hey, when I pick up a piece of equipment or a weapon, it would be cool to know like the stats or the power of the weapon that I'm currently equipped with, to see like, hey, is this actually better? Instead of like going to your inventory, opening up the modal, seeing what the damage is, and then looking at the piece of equipment. It's it's a process. And I totally agree with this person. Like, yeah, we should do this. We have to prioritize everything. So I don't know when we're going to do that, but
right.
We didn't grow up playing mobile games, so
right.
We can't intuit everything. And I also feel the same way as Kevin. Like, just please criticize me. Like, please. How can I progress without it?
Yeah, as long as it's constructive. Right. Like, we'll get some critiques where it's like, this game is too random, and then I'll try and reach out and be like, yes, I agree there are some random parts to it, but like, which parts, what hurt you, like what bit you, like I want to know the pain that you felt, like specifically, because then I can address it. But if I don't know, then I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe someone had a run through and they just got really bad random numbers, which actually can happen. Like, you can be really unlucky and get to that first goblin and just like get smacked like twice in a row, and that's really unfortunate. Maybe I should do something about that. Maybe I should have a fail safe where it's like, if you've died once on the goblin, the second time you fight this thing, maybe you just won't miss.
I don't think the difficulty will ever be balanced or ever please anyone, but making maybe 2 modes of difficulty that aren't too hard to implement will quiet a lot of that, or that noise, if you're trying to get to more meaty concerns.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah. There's something we've thought. There's a lot of different, a lot of different ways we've thought of, a lot of different things, a lot of different approaches to take.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the player feedback's important. Right now, the feature I'm building is based off player feedback. Folks are like, hey, is there like, I'm changing my phone. Like, how do I get my data off this phone for Bardcard to the new phone?
Yep.
And I'm like, I've been waiting for that question. There is not a way, but I'm currently building it, and hopefully we'll release it by the end of this month, maybe.
See, because I saw that comment, and I have an iPhone 10 right now, and I was like, maybe it's time to upgrade my phone. And I'm not upgrading my phone until that thing rolls out in the update. I'm like, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
right there.
It's coming.
All right,
it's coming.
Fabulous stuff, guys. As when we talk about all these different iterations, I think where people, when they go on like a creative adventure, especially, to create something like a game that's intuitive where people can understand it without the conversation. I think part of the thing that, especially for a younger generation, needs to understand is that there is not like, and then you do step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5. And in fact, you do these 10 steps, and then this is how you successfully launch a game called Bardcard out on the world. There's a lot of like random, what the actual crap is going on, and that is part of the journey, because you're learning as you go along, right? As you guys said, you kind of had the seeds of this even 20 years ago, and you're here now. You've had to tell your significant loved ones in your life, yes, we're just beginning now to invest our time and energy into this thing. What would you say to people? Well, first of all, what would you say as friends, if you're going to start going on this adventure together, tell us something like, say, like, hey, like, why wouldn't you do this? Because it's a rare combination of people you can be friends with and also do something businessy together. What would you tell people? Like, hey, man, if you see this, like, run the other way, or like, this is why you might want to explore it. What are your safety words there? Like, go, stop, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll start real quick and I'll pass it to John. I think like for me, like or just like thinking about like how this has worked. Like, so, John and I, super amazing friendship that I would never want to, ruin for any reason. especially like a business reason. So whenever I approach Bardcard, we've talked about this before, I'm just like, as long as we're having fun, we should keep doing it. Like, I don't ever want to like feel like a deep stress about it, or like, oh, we have like these, we have to do this by then, or whatever, unless it's part of the fun. But I think as long as you're having fun with your good friend or friends, and you're being able to express yourself creatively or however you want to, just do it. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I see. So I frequent like game development like subreddits, just to like kind of get a pulse of opinion. And there'll be posts where people are like, oh, like my game on Steam is like pre-order, and I only have like 100 wish lists. Like, should I quit now? And I'm just thinking, I don't know, maybe you're in it for the wrong reason. If that's all you're in it for, like, maybe you should. I don't know. Like, obviously I don't say that. Like, everybody has their motivations, but for us, or at least for me, it's just like, it's fun. Like, it's such a fun journey. I don't know, John, what are your thoughts?
I kind of automatically go into deadline mode and stress mode from having to produce things that can't just be in development forever, that actually have to be finished, like a t-shirt. So for Kevin to have told me a few months ago, I think before PAX, we were kind of getting ready for PAX. We didn't know if we were going to get a table or not. There was a lot to do. I was feeling pretty stressed, and Kevin told me that exact same thing. Like, just do as much as is fun, because you don't get any investors. There's nobody telling us what to do, and it's always kind of unfinished, which is fine, But in terms of like how to what to look out for, I don't know. I mean, you can't just manufacture 20 years of trust, so that's helpful. Also,
very true.
Or whatever it is, dude. Yeah, no. 1996 was more than 20 years ago. It's like 27 years ago, 28 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it's a good vintage year right there,
Yeah, like a lot of respect and trust. So I can sort of relax, because I know he's not going to run away. We also conveniently don't have children, so that's just kind of like the random. It's not something I would advise you to decide to do or not to do based on making a game. So yeah, like you said, there's definitely not 10 steps, and I couldn't have done much of this, without somebody that I knew for very long, or kept at it for 7 years,
right,
and not feel like a waste of time. Even if something happened now and it went away, it wouldn't feel a waste of time, because I'd still have the friendship too, presumably. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a job. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think just also to talk about trust as well, like actually releasing was such a giant milestone, and John trusting me to actually release the game, because there'll be, we worked on it for 7 years. So every year I'm like, all right, John, we just have to do this and this, and then we can release, in 6 months. And then 6 months would go by, I'd be behind because we have life stuff and we're working, then we get feedback from folks and like, okay, John, we just need like these 30 art assets or we need this or that. So I don't know, just like knowing that we're actually going to finish it, and actually finishing it, quote unquote. One thing real quick, even just like putting a line in the sand of when we're going to release, even that was hard. Like when we released Bardcard, in my mind, I think in both of our minds, like it wasn't done. We have so much lore. We have so many design documents of like the rest of the game, so many ideas. So it's always like, is this good enough? Like, is this enough gameplay to warrant like people to download it and play it? Does it seem polished? Does it seem, is it good? Is it actually a done game? Because in our minds, it's not done. So are we, doing a disservice by releasing something that we thought was unpolished, when in reality, I guess it was good enough and people are enjoying it and we're iterating on it, but actually just like choosing a time. And I think the big determiner for us, we just chose PAX. So PAX West, our plan was, hey, by PAX, we want to go, We want to, big aspirations. We want to get a table. We want to just release and be like, hey, like this game just got released. But then, whether or not we actually got accepted into PAX, which we eventually did not actually have a table, but we went instead. It was still a good forcing function to actually just release the game. Like, hey, okay, we chose this time, we chose this date. There's always going to be something else we want to do. We just gotta release it. Let's just do it. And then we did, and here we are today.
And I'm glad you guys did, because it's been a wonderful kind of power down for the day for me. Just to be able to have a mental shift and do something fun, to challenge myself and know that I can pick it up and put it down and pick it up again later that night, and then again later that night, and just do a little bit. But I think you guys, what you did is you invited people into the world, and you made the story big enough where you feel like you've enjoyed a good chunk of it. Yet, chapter 2, I think, is coming in a few months at the time of this recording, and so fingers crossed. That's something too where people now know, like, hey, there's a bigger world that's going on. And what's fun about this too is, like, you may not ever pick up on some of the motivations or things that were behind the game. Because some people, when they see like the App Store and games, they go, oh, it's just another game. And usually if people use the word just, they have no idea what actually goes into something down below. Oh, it's just this, it's just that. And what I love about these things, so as a musician, I'm a bass player. And nobody ever said to the bass player, like, what I need to hear is more face-melting 64th note solos for 5 minutes long. Like, nobody says that, They want the bass player to play something that makes somebody feel something, right? So there's very strategic decisions about it. So you say, well, you just played eighth note. It's like, well, I could have played all these other things. I could have done this. I made very smart decisions, or sometimes dumb decisions. I didn't know what to play, and I played it. But I made you think that it was right, Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But with something like this, too, it's always fun to know the story behind the stories, because now you get to know the storytellers, and you get to know their relationship. And now that I've gotten to have this conversation, I can kind of see those seeds of how those things came to be. And so now I can look at it from the perspective, like, hey, this is, Kevin's UI about how it flows. This is, John's art here. And I'm going to picture some of that art on T-shirts, which is why I know you have merch on your social media feeds. There's merch coming soon. It's because you got a guy who's got a guy to be able to do the merch. So it's all good.
Definitely. Oh, we just need 20 people to pre-order, and it's the momentum can start. Just need to ask. Good. Oh, yes. So many tasks.
So guys, I'll let Josh have the final word here. But before we go, how can they find you guys on the interwebs and other things? Where should they go?
Well, definitely. Well, you can go to our website, which has all of the links to our social media. So if you just go to rascalmagic.com, we've got a Discord link. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can send us an email if you're that type of person. I'm totally fine with all of them. If you're on Discord, come join us. We've got a community, which we probably started too late. Like, these are all things, if I look back in the past, I'm like, oh, when we launched the game, we should probably have a place for people to come and talk. We just launched a couple weeks ago. But yeah, you can find us any of those places.
Very good. Josh, you have any last thoughts you may want to add here?
Not really. I mean, I think we've touched on everything. I think it's pretty good. I just wanted to say one thing about the game is that I'm happy it's not a free-to-play game. I'm actually very happy that I pay some money to you guys and I get a product. And so it also makes it seem like it's on another level, because I really do feel that a lot of games, when they went quote-unquote free-to-play, that it was kind of like the race to the bottom. And when you actually pay something for something, it's like a premium product. Even if it's just a little bit of money, it's a premium product. You're in. And when you invest a little bit of time and a little bit of money in that, it weeds out a lot of, I think, people, especially like on people that would join your Discord. There won't be people there that are just there to like grief other people, or because they've already played, they had to pay something to play the game, And so I think that Brian and I have had that kind of experience with we're doing our Discord, all that stuff. We haven't even launched it yet, but all that kind of stuff. And we're in the same boat as you guys. We're we should have done that a long time ago. Because we're doing these episodes and we need somebody to talk, if we want to talk about it, or, it's hard really for them to get a hold of us, even though it's not. how many people are going to go on Twitter, or how many people are actually going to send us an email, or how many people are going to go to our website, But a lot of people have Discord open, and they don't mind just, like dropping in, dropping out, stuff like that. So I do think you guys are on the right trajectory for the community building. And I came into the game, obviously, Brian just said, hey, try this game. And I think it was like a couple of weeks. He's like, have you tried that Bardcard yet? I said, no. And he's like, man, I'm like number 3. And I'm like, whatever, And so I downloaded it. Finally, he's like, oh, I talked to these guys. And because it was coming up on our Instagram, and I'm logged in on there too. And I'm like, I guess I better play that game, like actually play it and try it. So I have something cohesive to talk about when we're there. But I'm glad I did. And it was one of those things I was like, because I don't play a lot of mobile games. I just don't. I play a lot. If I'm going to play, I'm going to invest in like a console or PC or something. And this was a pleasant surprise for me to play. So I've been suggesting it to people. So hopefully we can get some more people in your guys' community on that whole thing. So
make a referral code, and it'll say Josh LeGroux, and it'll be 27,000 downloads just yesterday. Good Josh. If we could do that for you guys, we'd love to support you. While you do, So
if you can get us 27,000 downloads, we're putting you in the game for sure.
Thanks for bringing up the pay-to-play thing. And it's nice to hear people keep noticing that. That was definitely something we wanted to avoid. I wish you could search in the App Store for ones that are only pay-to-play. I think you can't. I think you can search for free games at any price. It's really frustrating to me that you can't search for only premium games or not pay-to-play.
Right.
But
right.
Hopefully that will resonate with people. And thank you so much for playing and telling me what you thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Now that I know that you guys are, I know you guys are engaged, and I think that's another thing that people really like, is that you're engaged in your own community. So, and they know it's a living product. They know that it's not like a big conglomerate put it out, and they're just trying to like milk the community for all they can get, and then they're gone. Right. Like you guys are really taking the care to change the game or iterate on the game or add more things to the game that you guys want to add. So like you said, it's never really done, but it's done enough to launch, and now you're just kind of continuing it, which is a great journey, because people like Brian who play all the time are always going to have something. Hopefully eventually in the future we'll have something more to play.
Yep.
There's so much more. Yeah, there's so much more to add. I'm not going to talk about years, but there's a ton of things, and we're also just really slow, right? Like we have full-time jobs, other things in our lives, so it's like, trying to enact our vision or create our vision is, it's a timely process. So thank you to the community for being there and also being patient. More content is coming, but we also have to balance our lives as well.
Guys, I've enjoyed this conversation. I hope it won't be the last, and hopefully, as one of the things that Josh and I do is, if there's ways that we can connect you. You have your communities out there for what you're doing with Bardcard, and one of the things that we find really in collaboration, just so we kind of talked about, sometimes it's those weird elements that come into a collaborative environment where you just don't know what comes of it. So we hope that we'll have another conversation, either online or offline, with you guys soon. And, we wish you all the best for Chapter 1 of Bardcard, and Chapter 2, like I said, a few months will be coming. So check out the iOS store, folks, to give these guys some love and support. Until next time, thank you to Kevin and John for joining us. This is Brian.
And this is Josh.
For Curiosity Continuum.